dos, unos, dos, tres, cuatros.
Matthew told Patty about the thing she saw. It had two big horns and a woolly bully jaw. Woolly bully, bully bully, bully bully, bully bully, woolly bully.
What's now watching?
At the told Matty, now let not take no chance. Let's not be L7. Come on and learn to dance. Woolly bully, woolly bully, woolly bully, woolly bully, woolly bully.
What's now
Well, I
watching?
trust his judgment. He's been doing the strapping business for a long time, so
Okay.
I have a good feeling he'll get her strapped in tight.
The thing that sticks out most for me is how fast it's gone. It doesn't seem like 10 years ago that we started this company.
Each year we've had significant growth, and I think we have a lot to be proud of.
But when you consider the fact that over half of all small businesses fail before their fourth year, and that the average lifespan of a small business is only 8.5 years, well then the 10-year anniversary represents longevity. It means that we've made it as a company, that we're here to stay and we're not going anywhere.
When we first started this business, there were going to be 2 milestones where we knew that we had made it and we were successful as a business. One was when we got a copy machine, and the second was when we get a trip to Duluth.
And every year I continually ask, is this the year we're going to Duluth? And it's been an ongoing joke that haven't quite made it yet. In recognition of the 10th anniversary and us really being a stellar company that's profitable, doing well, satisfied customers, we thought it was time we make the trip to Duluth.
The hotel room that we stayed in was a very nice suite. It had a nice kitchenette area in it that you could prepare food or drinks or whatever you desired. There was a nice eating area, a great fireplace gathering area for everybody to kind of sit in and congregate. Each person we had delved into each room. Each person had two people per room, so I think the sleeping arrangements actually worked out great.
Lots of room to walk around half naked and not have to worry about a thing. We had a nice sauna in our room, which I took advantage of. I really enjoyed that. We had a nice whirlpool tub, which the word on the street was Paul maybe snuck out there in the middle of the night, and he enjoyed it himself.
It reminded me a little bit of the warehouses on down in downtown Minneapolis. They had been converted, but they kept the warehouse look, and they very tall ceilings, huge beams.
I think the Canal District is one of Duluth's gems. It's a place where people come to vacation and enjoy themselves, and it's very warm, inviting, and the walks along the pier, the lakefront, it's all just such a nice area.
You got to experience the local culture. You know, it's all about whatever. You know, I travel a lot for work, and whenever I'm out and about, if I have the opportunity, I try and pick a local place compared to a chain.
We chose Lake Avenue Cafe really for some authentic Duluth food, and the thought was we didn't want to go to a chain, somewhere that we could go here in the cities, and it really was authentic. I think I got the elk kebabs, and a lot of people got fish. And
Unique menu, not anything very conventional, I would say. I noticed there was elk on there, there was frog legs, I believe. There was a lot of different unique stuff and very kind of what I would call a lot of pretty food.
Reminded me of watching a lot of these cooking shows on the Food Network, with the fine restaurants and the fine chefs creating works of art. I had a steak and there were little things stacked up on it and flower petals of some kind spread over my steak, and I ate the flower petals. My wife said, "You're not supposed to eat the flower petals, those are just there for aroma," but I ate them anyway.
I will say we got a little bit loud in the restaurant, and the party next to us actually moved locations, which I haven't had that happen to me in a little while, but which shows actually the boisterous nature of our conversation that was going on and the amount of laughter and fun that we were having.
Well, we actually ate at 2 local restaurants during our stay in the Canal District. One night we ate at the Lake Avenue Cafe, which was only a few blocks from our hotel. And the other night we ate at Grandma's, which is located right next to the lift bridge.
Grandma's had excellent food. I was really surprised. I was a little tentative going in there. We had a great waitress.
And this is the Grandma of Grandma's Marathon. Grandma had a boarding house in yesteryear.
We had the trout, I believe it was. It was a fish platter that most of the people ordered, and it was outstanding. It was one of the biggest pieces of fish that I had ever received, and it was perfectly prepared and tasted fantastic.
After that, we kind of strolled the boardwalk and checked out the lighthouse, saw some boats coming in. We told some kayakers to kiss, kind of caught them off guard. I think they were friends. So,
of course, are we supposed to talk about Jacobs harassing the kayaking couple?
Somebody left a nice gift out there. There was a little bag of poop from a dog that was in a black bag sitting there, and it was and we just didn't know what to do with it, so we did post somebody to guard it for a while, which Paul took that, which was very sportsman of him.
A little bit troubling in the fact that Paul seemed to gravitate towards a doggy poop bag along the side in the railing.
Also, there's a lot of good people watching, a lot of people skipping up and down with Brad and Joe decided to take a nice little skip up and down the pier, and that was a sight to be seen.
Well, I said this at the time, that's something I cannot unsee, and we'll just leave it at that. We went golfing, and I was on a team with Brad and Greg, and we were the more experienced of the crew, and then Sam and Jacob and Joe were the younger team.
Well, I'm the one who suggested that we split up the teams between the youngsters and the more mature members of our group, because I knew that the pressure of having to win would cause the youngsters to fall apart.
He thought it was a good idea to kind of test the mental toughness of the younger generation in our group. So he proposed that we play a over-the-hill style matchup versus an up-and-coming style matchup.
My older brother Joseph, he came up with the names Over the Hillers and Up and Comers.
The Up and Comers, it maybe should have been something more like the Replacements or something like that, because the Over the Hillers are over the hill, and we have kind of replaced.
They apparently had forgotten about the Sportsman Award. Some of their comments was really more akin to trash talking than anything, while the more experienced participants attempted to be more sportsmanlike.
After dinner, we decided that we'd stop at, I believe it was called the Canal Park Brewery. Great place, right on the water. Walked in, had some really authentic Duluth beers, and everyone was enjoying themselves. And the Over the Hillers, which consisted of Brad, Paul, and Greg, were talking a lot about their golf game and what they could do and how they could perform on the golf course the next day. And the up-and-comers, just being in our position, thought, it's not the best to maybe combat that with retaliation of our speak. But what ended up happening was I had had enough and thought it was time that I put my money, that they start putting their money where their mouth is. And they were talking and talking and talking, and it was almost over the top. And so I said, listen, up-and-comer, or Over the Hillers, I think that the up-and-comers are going to beat you by at least 7 holes. Oh, that's never going to happen. Well, I said, I'll put $10 on it.
I'm trying to remember if we had any wagers. I don't remember any wagers right off the bat.
The night before, Joe, there was a lot of trash talk going on, and some real boastful statements going on, and Joe made a challenge, made a wager that they were going to beat us by at least 7 holes. And I took that bet.
Very good golf swing it is, and we'll try to show you what makes it work with the Konica Minolta Biz Hub Swing Vision camera. When Ian gets the club back to the top, what I like about it is he gets the club face in a square to actually slightly open position. Watch the club head at the top. It's pointing well down toward the ground, and now from this position he's just turned around his center. He can really unload with his body rotating, and he has no fear of the club face getting shut on the way down. Again, the club face still slightly open. Now it starts to square up through impact. He can go ahead and give it a whack with the right hand and let the body keep rotating past, the hands and arms keep rotating past the body and past the chin. I think he has a wonderful position on the top of the backswing, Nick, and that lets him really release it hard through the hit.
Just got to watch that right knee. Occasionally just moves too much on the backswing.
Into the greens complex.
Oh no.
Oh boy, big pull hook. Oh, this is smothered. It's going way right. Hits the cart path. That is, I believe, a lateral water hazard to the right here of the fairway. That is miles right.
Scramble golf is each player hits a shot from one location, and then you take the best shot out of the group. So depending on the size of the group, usually you have 2 to 4 players in a scramble, and you go to the next best shot, and then you all hit from that location, and you tally your strokes from each location, the best shot that each player hits from the various locations through to the end of the hole.
Really, it's kind of like when you're running away from a bear. You don't need to be the fastest human. You just have to be faster than the slowest. And that's our approach to the game was, we don't have to hit every stroke really well. We just have to hit it better than the Over the Hillers, which we knew we were doing.
You don't want the youngsters to get discouraged. you have to let them win a hole once in a while in golf. So I believe we did let them win 1 or 2 holes so that they wouldn't get bored. And if youngsters get bored, they get into trouble. And we don't want the youngsters getting bored and getting into trouble.
The over-the-hillers started out first in front of us. As we were playing, we felt like we could have played a little faster, so on the back 9 we decided to play in front of them.
Paul made an incredible putt that had to be at least 50 feet long, 40 feet long. It went into the cup and bounced back out.
Gasps from the younger players, gasps from the up-and-comers. It took them a while to recover from that because they were as convinced as everyone else was that that ball was going to go in the hole. And I haven't got the results of the appeal and checking the equipment on the golf course yet, but I have no reason to think that there was any kind of sabotage of the hole. I have no reason to think that there was anything like that, even though the ball went in and came back out again.
Well, I think there was some inconsistencies as to what happened between the front 9 and the back 9. On the front 9, the more mature adults played first, followed by the youngsters, and they started to complain about us playing too slow or something like that. So at the turn after the first 9, they went out ahead of us and played the back 9, and then we followed them. Well, as it turned out, there was a difference. They only had like a 3-stroke advantage at the turn, but on the back 9, I had like a 100-foot chip that went into the hole and then bounced right back out across the green. And Paul had like a 40-foot putt that went right into the hole and then bounced right back out. Plus the fact that we didn't start 3-putting until the back 9. That led me to suspect that perhaps they were using alien technology with some kind of anti-gravitational device that they would stick in the hole after they were done playing to cause our balls to bounce out anything shot from more than 3 feet away.
And with us winning by 7 holes, it kind of signifies that, you know, our whole team, we played pretty well.
I'm drawing a blank on I'm not sure if the results are in yet. I think they had to do some last-minute tallying.
So this is the house where I was born.
In the house?
Well, I was born in the hospital, but this was the first house we lived in. Downstairs, the street level was another apartment, and then there was another apartment upstairs, and we were 1 level below the street. And then there were actually 2 basements below us.
Did they call you basement dwellers?
Yeah, we were basement dwellers.
How many? There was 2 basements below you?
Yeah. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's, if you look on the back side of it, it's a 5-level house.
No way.
After that, we got on the road and we checked out the a couple childhood homes of Bradley Imsdahl. And
well, Brad Imsdahl has been a very central part of this company. He's one of the primary reasons that we made it, and it is a historical landmark. And since we did have Brad with us in Duluth, it only made sense to go to the childhood home of Brad Imsdahl for historical purposes, so that we could have a conversation with some of his old neighbors. And next door to one of his houses, we even were greeted with, "What are you doing here?"
Having the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the roots of a pillar of the organization is important. It gets you a better understanding of their position and where they're coming from, and why they maybe say what they say, or pick arguments or fights sometimes when it's really unnecessary, but they still do. So having an opportunity to learn more about somebody like that from the organization, I wouldn't miss that for the world.
On the street level, there was a main level and an upstairs, and then most houses have a basement, but this actually had 3 levels of basement below the street level. pretty impressive.
And I believe there might have been a third basement underneath it before you got to the creek. And I just wondered what kind of things were down that hill in that creek.
Got in the car, checked out his second home, and we actually got to talk to some of his neighbors, his old neighbors that actually used to live there when he was living there. So,
and they told us stories of how Brad, when he was young, would chase nuns down the street and ram into them violently on his tricycle. And he was this was just a pretty horrifying thing that he would do, harassing these poor old nuns, but he thought they were bad because they were black.
Let me tell you about my hometown, greatest in the Gopher State. I'll have to brag a little bit, but I really won't exaggerate. Big D-U-L-U-T-H, Duluth, Duluth. That's my hometown. Duluth, Duluth. That's my hometown. Where in the world could you ever find so much good fishing? Where else could you find a city that's completely air-conditioned? Where are the largest inland ports and the greatest outdoor sports? Duluth, Duluth, that's my hometown. Duluth, Duluth, that's my hometown. UMD, Aerial Bridge and Northland Country Clubbers, the North Shore and the Skyline Drives and the Dukes for baseball lovers. It's recommended for a lifetime or just a day. Duluth, Duluth, that's my hometown. Duluth, Duluth, that's my hometown.
Nobody listens to me. That's okay. I would do it differently myself.
I tell you what, I have full faith, full 100% faith in these guys that they're going to get it figured out.
I think he should strap it over there instead of over here and then cross it over.
Paul's got some questions about their strapping techniques.
Nobody asked me.
I know my dad has many years of strapping experience, a lot more than I do, so I do take this opportunity to learn something new every time. And again, he's showing me something new. It's called the bail technique. You wrap so that it's one unit, and then you go one over top, and I think it's a really nice strap job.
Spear Mountain was really fun. They had an alpine slide, which is basically a roller coaster that went down the mountain, and they also had a zip line where you would sit on the zip line and shoot down to the bottom of the mountain.
The timber twister, the alpine slide, was a lot of fun. It's roller coaster rails and individual cars that you can put one or two people on. These cars have handles on them so you can control the speed.
I will say that Sam and I rode down on the cart, which was a lot of man on one cart, but boy, the speed was exhilarating.
some of us, which I won't name names, used the brake a little heavier than others.
As we were going down, as we're coming back up, we did see Brad and Paul, and they did seem to be applying the brakes quite a bit to the things.
Paul, who was accusing Brad of braking for the first trip down, which was questionable, but it was plausible that Brad was braking on the way down. But then what happened was we took another couple subsequent trips down and went into the gift shop, and Paul was talking a lot about not braking and just enjoying the speed. And there was then photographic evidence that he in fact was braking while the picture was being taken.
There was one point where there was a baby duck on the track, and I had a little bit of the brake on to avoid the baby duck, and it happened to be just a moment when the automated photograph was taken. But I did manage to avoid injuring the baby duck.
How was it, Paul?
Speed.
Speed.
I have a need for speed.
There was a second ride, which was a zip line, which was not quite as fun, but needless to say, it was a lot of fun itself. You had to experience it. If you're there, you got to do both. I recommend both, so you try them both.
I looked around for something to hold on to, and there was nothing to hold on to. So I was held in by a very narrow strap that they call the seat belt.
How was it?
It was cool.
That was cool.
How was the zip line, Brad?
I'm afraid of heights. I only did it just so I could get that GoPro camera footage, but really, I was terrified.
I don't think it's anything to be embarrassed of if you just did a little tinkle in your pants.
And there's no seat belts. You have to hang on at the end when it crashes in at the bottom there.
Did you almost fall out?
Yeah.
He had a little tinkle come out.
I was hanging on by like 2 fingers. I was that close to.
When you made it?
Well, I made it.
You made it?
I made it.
What'd you think?
It was exciting. It was one of the most invigorating experiences of my life.
Wow.
It was okay.
What'd you think, Paul?
It's crazy. I felt like I was going to fall out of that.
Did you feel on top of the world?
That fit about halfway up, across my butt.
Yeah.
I was like, you stop, and it's like, whoa!
The Sportsman's the award that we give for sportsmanship over the weekend, so over the trip. So basically, if whoever we feel performed at the highest sportsmanship level, it has lots of different aspects for lots of different people, so there's a lot of interpretation that goes into it, but it includes your performance in the events, your overall demeanor and attitude towards the weekend, and just pretty much it's a general term to say kind of who was the most valuable player, who did the best, who showed the most sportsmanship throughout the trip.
It's a coveted award. It's very coveted. It is given to one person on one of these trips. Just one person gets it. It's got to be voted on by the entire group, and I wouldn't say it's got to be a unanimous vote, but it has to be by majority, obviously, that they win the Sportsman Award.
The achievement of the weekend, kind of the MVP, some would say, of the weekend. The Sportsman is all about your comrades and how you present yourself to them.
Someone who is good sport, win or lose. It can be awarded for someone who, where fishing maybe catches the largest fish. Maybe someone who commits the greatest sporting feat.
There's some negotiation that goes into it. There's some discussion that goes into it prior to the vote, which is a very important discussion.
Well, there's controversy every year in how this goes. We have a bit of a controversial group. They seem to like a little bit of controversy.
Bradley was a strong contender to be the Sportsman, but right before the voting, it came to be about that. Him and Joe had they were working together.
I believe it's the first time in the history of the Sportsmanship Award that there has been a unanimous vote for Sportsmanship Award that was unanimously reversed. Every one of the voters was going to vote for Brad Imsdahl for the Sportsmanship Award until it was revealed that he had entered into this shady alliance.
Well, actually, there wasn't an alliance. Joe and I talked about the possibility of an alliance ahead of time, but right away he started talking about if somebody else was in the running and it looked like that we didn't have any chance of winning, that he would vote for somebody else. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's not an alliance.
A significant portion of the group during the vote indicated that they would have loved to vote for Brad. Brad unfortunately submarined himself right before the vote and could not stop talking about catching the largest fish 2 years in a row and not winning the Sportsman.
For the prior couple of years when we went fishing, I caught the biggest fish for both years. Now, my understanding of the definition of sportsman is being able to outplay your competition, and in a fishing competition, catching the biggest fish certainly should come into the play there. And I don't recall ever bragging about how big of a fish I caught. All of those other fishes that are probably like this size, whereas mine is, well, I don't.
But Brad also brought up a really key point, and that is we would not be here if it weren't for Greg taking the risk and assembling the team that he put together to create Tax Materials Incorporated.
Bradley sold him really well too during his speech, so Brad kind of deferred himself to award Greg the Sportsman. So Brad did a nice job speaking up for Greg, and Greg's always just a great sport. He always goes with the flow. He always contributes, and he was also the essential member in starting the company. And so we kind of thought about the 10-year anniversary, and per Brad's speech, kind of pointing that out as well, kind of highlighting that. It really helped. But Greg's always a great sportsman. I don't think there's ever a chance where he doesn't really deserve it. It's just a matter of how well it's sold at a given time.
As a matter of fact, I've got it right here. I'm pretty proud of this guy. I don't really walk away I don't go very far without him until it's quite the honor to be the Sportsman of the Year. It's an honor that I will probably never forget in my life. It's pretty exciting.
I'm thinking that green one right there. Let's get it. Come on! Give me some love! Yeah! Is that bad?
Yeah, you gotta do it when you're in the higher number.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't have this game at home. I used to love it. Did you used to play it?
I have 2 guitars.
Just like downtown Minneapolis, real action. Oh,
Blue rain is going down.
It's
Black
purple
magic.
rain, by the way.
Purple rain is going down. Black magic is going.
Here's
awesome.
the deal. There was miscommunications about the card. It was supposed to be for a half hour, was our total time. Nonetheless, it was $20. I burned my money trying to win an iPad, and then I was going to get some points afterwards. Nonetheless, I burned through my entire card and ended up with 8 points.
So is this a series of excuses? How did
right.
you get 1,000 points?
I finessed the handle here. I spun the wheel, and I finessed it a little bit.
Well, the first time you saw your
that's
card,
not the same number as down here.
Winning team.
No, but in all seriousness, it's hard to believe that we started, it's kind of fun, we started back in February of 2005, and I joined the company shortly thereafter in June, and literally we had nothing at the time. We had some incredible staff, an incredible company that was building, but that was 10 years ago. It's hard to believe we're going into our 10th year of publication. And we went from me selling literally vaporware. I would go to a trade show and tell them, this is going to be a great book. You're going to love this. You still do. And I still do, but it's new books. Then I have a little more trust factor now, but we went from small beginnings, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been an incredible journey. The folks in the company and the people that we have are so incredibly vested into the company and our success. And it was kind of fun. I was actually at a trade show just last weekend with Gabe, who was a fairly new employee, and he said, you know, I've worked at a couple different places, and this is the first place where I've been to where it's just such an incredible amount of ownership of success and feeling empowered to state your opinion, and your opinion's heard. I mean, he was at the trade show, and he said, hey, I think we should do this source. I said, you know, Gabe, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And everyone has that capability, and it's a fun environment. We've gone from, like I said, small beginnings to now. We did a survey where we took a look at, we buy all of the P10 lists and all of the lists from all the IRS. So we know, literally, if you do taxes, we know who you are in the U.S. And we average at least 10 to 15% of the known tax professionals in every state purchases the tax book. And they use the tax book. And that's not even counting all of our partnerships that actually resell the book or distribute, including H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, TaxSlayer, who distributes national licenses. So our touch points and our footprint in this industry is incredible. And it's such a fun product because people find such value in using our publications. And I can't tell you, I was just at these smaller shows in California, and literally we had a smaller footprint in one of these shows. There's maybe 100 people there, and one of the persons stood up and said, "If you're not buying the tax book, you don't deserve to do taxes." Literally everybody at the trade show purchased from me. It's incredible. And that's the type of loyal crowd that we're building. If they use the tax book and have a chance to use it, they love it. And it's because we have the absolute best authors and editors. The production folks that put this together are incredible. The quality of product that's put together is literally second to none. The sales folks that go out and sell this to across the country at all the trade shows and work with all the customer service, they have the absolute best experience in the world. Our operations, from putting together the order management system to creating our online system, which is awesome, to all of our electronic products, is incredible. And everyone takes ownership and really appreciates it. So from the bottom of my heart, I really just want to say thank you for an incredible, now 10th year of publication. And it's been a lot of fun, and I think we have another 50 to go. And we have an incredible amount of opportunities in the pipeline, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and I just absolutely know we're going to have a lot more fun. So thank you and enjoy the night.
The next 10 years for Tax Materials Incorporated, I think we'll continue to grow. I think we have a team assembled that is not looking to be stagnant, is looking for additional opportunities, ways we can partner, products we can come out with. And I think we've developed a reputation and a name for our company and our products that is second to none, and we don't rest on our laurels. We're not going to sit back and just enjoy it, which we are enjoying it, but it's not something that we're going to sit back and say we've really made it. Duluth signified that we made it, but there's still a lot of opportunity for us.
A very well-respected product, a well-respected name in the industry. While our company is a national company, the area that we market to, the tax preparers, is kind of a smaller group, and word gets around, and we have a very well-respected product. And that's got a lot to do, it's got everything to do with our authors and all of our support people.
Never in my life have I sold a product that really sells itself. You know, I've done sprinkler systems, I've worked retail, I've sold a lot of things, and this product really sells itself, and we got a tiger by the tail, and it's just a matter of how long we can hold on. And I'm really excited for our future.
I see the same level of commitment and motivation from all the people in our company, and the commitment to not only products but customer service and just providing excellent value. And I see the next 10 years as being just as successful, if not more successful, than the last 10 years.
Over the next 10 years, we're going to continue to see our digital presence grow. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the digital side. I think there's a lot of partnership opportunities, finding companies to partner with and get more of our products in front of more people. So the biggest focuses over the next 10 years for me are continuing to grow the business, whatever that means. I think our education center that we built last year and deployed has got a lot of growth potential. I think our online web library is really poised to succeed. I think that's structured really well, and I think we can add components and kind of maximize the value of that as well as increase the value the customer receives.
I just have to thank everybody involved, with, you know, from Brad and Paul to my brothers and my father, and whoever else in the future. I just can't thank you guys enough for putting this whole thing on. All I have to do is show up and have a good time, so I'm always on board for that. But I just can't thank everybody enough for all their contributions that they do.
I'd probably like to reiterate my thanks to my brother Sam for organizing the event. He always puts on such great events. He's the operation king here at Tax Materials Incorporated, and his operation excellence continued on the trip management and trip planning, and so that was much appreciated.
Just great working at Tax Materials. I enjoy all the people. I enjoy all the things we get to do. I enjoy being with my family all the time and getting to work with them. Our editorial team is second to none. Everybody's great working with there. We get to do a lot of fun stuff on the technology front. The print production side is enjoyable to be a part of, and I just overall really enjoy being part of the company, and it's very rewarding for me.
We made it to Duluth. I know we've made it. We're successful as a company, and we're firmly established, being in business and growing for a decade is a pretty wonderful thing, especially the odds we were up against. We made it up and made it real.
We took the heat, we stood the pressure, we had him beat, we stepped together.